One question. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Those who are online, they can see. If they can. So most of them, they can, yes. Yeah. Yes, yes. My name, as I said, Nagmeldin Alsheikh, College of Education, Department, Curriculum and Structure, with Associate Professor there, teaching qualitative, mainly qualitative course. And I also used to teach qualitative in USA, long time ago. So my workshop today is about qualitative, qualitative, and mixed methods. We did everything to be it for you. Yeah. Sure. This is going working. Is it okay? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to ask you first, like, what is your knowledge about, like qualitative, and mixed methods? All it means that all the research actually you are doing considered here. I'm not sure, like those who are online, but those who are here, like they came from College of Education, College of Education to master, yeah, yes, master.
Yeah, master PhD from College of Medicine.
College of Medicine. Okay, we have College of Medicine, and the rest of our students are College of Education. I hope like more participation will be like for those who are online. So basically, this is like a very condensed workshop, since it talks about a lot of things. And I want it to be more of participation. If you have questions, if you have things about your dissertation, papers, I can, like very quickly, like give you some feedback. And this is what is the whole important thing about this workshop. So one of the things that like and one of my friends who came here from Canada asked me, "Do you have epistemology course?" I told him, like, unfortunately, we don't have epistemology in education, and we should have, because if you have epistemology, it will cover all those kind of things. We know that, like from those people in science or in humanities or in, like social science are all doing at some point at least qualitative or quantitative, let alone they are working on quantitative all the time. So in terms of epistemology, which is in a nutshell is the field of knowledge, where like we come to know what we know, the theory of knowledge, epistemology. So whatever form of reality in front of us, how we are going not only to know it, but also to represent it. So one of the things is, if you look at this slide, it is how we represent knowledge, and where the source of knowledge come from. So this is a very deep philosophical in terms of how we come to perceive what we perceive, in terms of statistics, in terms of qualitative data, or when we see, like a pragmatic view, when we do mixed method. So source of knowledge could be then in terms of content of knowledge or knowledge tradition. So if I'm taking to the right, the knowledge tradition is pragmatism, and that is pragmatism tied together what we call mixed methods. At some point, because we look at social reality and physical reality, and then objectivism and interpretivism. Interpretivism is mostly qualitative. Qualitative, I'm sorry. When we say, we want to interpret a phenomenon, whatever we see that, we are curious about, we do some kind of interpretation. And interpretation is a big thing that goes hermeneutic, social constructivism, and all of that. And the other thing is objectivism, which is biased, which is positivism. Okay? Then, one of the things that also the source of knowledge, it consists of rationalism, where we rationalize things. Why do you know this? By common sense. What do you mean by common sense? It is rationalization. You are using your mind to answer. And then it precises. Rationalism is the belief that reason is the source of knowledge. How you come to know this? By reasoning, by my mind. It is pure, it's like, so this is okay. And somebody, when he said, like, okay, this is a reasonable answer, he uses rationalism. You are rationalizing things. The other thing is empiricism, which is the belief that sensory experience is the only valid source of knowledge. But here also empirical data. Sometimes like we have, that's why the research is never perfect. We try to do the best to give it, like to make a pure, like, for example, experimental design, and we try to keep it at best. And why? Because we believe that, like, is sense, in sensory, like sensory experience. What we perceive, what we see, what other people feel or perceive, this is part of research. So, and the other thing is nativism. Nativism, for most people, they ignore it, or they don't believe in it that much because, but there is a lot of emphasis on nativism. They believe that at least some knowledge is innate. And this is take us to, like, we born with a knowledge. We born with a language device. How? And this is the logical. Since you have a tongue, you have keys, you have, you have this computer inside of you. You have this language device. That means it is innate. You are born with it. That's why those nativists believe that, like, we believe that at least some knowledge is innate. We're born with some kind of knowledge. So, and this is what are the things that if I have to push this part down. So for interpretivism, reality is assumed to be constructed by people. It's totally constructed. That is why we use it a lot in qualitative data in social science and humanities, and qualitative. And objectivism, reality assumes to be what? Reality assumes to be external to and separate from the knower. This is empirical. Like, it is objective reality. I don't tamper with it. I don't interfere with it. And this is when we say experimental or we do things in the lab, we are exactly looking at objectivism. So the other thing is pragmatism, believes that reality exists but cannot be known directly unless we do research. And again, this pragmatism, we'll see it again when we talk about mixed methods. Realism, idealism, the sort of, philosophy, believes that all things in the world can be known. This is realism, and believes that knowledge consists of only ideas, and that is idealistic. Like it is again, like idealistic, like creative tradition and all of that. And then we have skepticism. And this is at least a postmodern idea, believes that the world may not be known at all. This is very extreme idea, and this is adopted by modern thinkers, how we come to know what is real. Given that it is this confusion, like in terms of postmodernity, like where we don't know anything anymore with artificial intelligence, with the new things, is this fake, is this real, all of, like what is the reality here? So you need a lot of reality check. So this is not, in a not sense, in a nutshell, like epistemology. Again, whenever you do your paper, you carry with you a kind of epistemology. Whenever you do, like any logical thing, epistemology. Whenever you do your dissertation, epistemology. Before we think about the methodology, we're going to talk about this very, very soon. So, okay, how we represent knowledge? Representing, okay? If it is different, it is epistemological belief. It's epistemological belief, we have a different views, as we see, pertaining to nature of knowledge. What is the nature of knowledge that we look at? Is it objectivism? Is it subjectivism? Is it technique in terms of, like logical rationalism? Is it empiricism? Is it how knowledge is acquired? This is another one of epistemology. But epistemology, as you can see, it should be a whole course for the students because it takes the whole way of seeing. When you see, like I'm holding a PhD degree, what do you mean? It means exactly this. It is not only your subject matter, it is the holistic and the whole view of how you see the world in terms of different lenses, and in terms of different reality, and in terms of different epistemologies. Okay? Okay, it doesn't click, but let me try it from here. This is what I'm talking about. Most people who are doing this dissertation, and I assume that some of you at some point they're thinking about, we talk about epistemology, we talk about like how the theory of knowledge, whatever it is in a natural science or social science, it is the big thing, it is epistemology. The other thing is our theoretical perspective. A theoretical perspective comes, as we can see from, it is the stem from the epistemology. How we look, we have this frame to frame our study. Then, sometimes our students, they mix what is methodology and methods. So methodology is not methods. The methods are the things that like you are using. For example, a survey, the methods, any tool, what we call instruments and tools of methods. But methodology is the big framework, and it could be experimental design, it could be narrative research, it could be like ground theory, it could be anything, qualitative or quantitative. So again, I always like make the student and tell them, like don't tell your supervisor my methodology is phenomenology. Phenomenology is not my methods are phenomenology. Okay, this is not a method. Those are methodology. This is a big umbrella methodology. From it, you use the methods of phenomenology. So it goes like this. and this is by Michael Grutti. Actually, it looks like I did this course back in State University of New York, long time ago. And he stayed a lot of time, explain also to my American students this idea. So because they are mixing things, epistemology, theoretical perspective, methodology, and then the methods are the tools. Think about it. But the methodology is the bigger thing. Here, we are going to make it even clear. Oh, this is epistemology again. So objectivism, and this is science, constructionism, this is qualitative research, subjectivism, also, like objective reality. What I see, I'm part of the reality. I'm not, outside the reality, and other variants. So those are epistemology, how I can, but usually we don't, unless you are a great researcher, you start with epistemology. So your research is looking like a triangle, where you start with the great lens and end up zoom, 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 till you talk about the methods. And all those should fit in one line. So you don't mix things together. So if I'm objectivism, then I'm going to take positivism. And if I'm construction, I can take both positivism or interpretivism, symbolic interactionism, phenomenology, hermeneutics, critical theory, feminism, postmodernism, etc. So those are the theoretical perspective. Just think about it, the theoretical perspective and your frame are huge. Okay? So, in terms of methods, again, I say don't mix methodology with the methods. Methodology are not equal to the methods. So if my methodology is experimental design, experimental research. Okay, you have to go with the methods. If you have the methodology, you have to go with the method that is compatible with experimental design. That means you have an experiment to begin with, and you have to do sampling measure and scaling. It could be also questionnaire. I have a survey research questionnaire. Okay, I have observation, I have ethnography, I can do observation, interview, I have case study, I can do interview, I have narrative study, I can use narrative, statistical analysis, this could be experimental or, quasi-experimental, and comparative study when I compare things. Comparison is part of epistemology again. How do we know? For example, why did you choose United Arab Emirates University? I'm going to see the rank of United Arab Emirates and knowledge of comparison with other, compared to the other university. I say this is the best university because it is ranking high. And even in your field, you have to dig deep because thinking about the field, you go deeper because sometimes some universities are higher in some domain and not higher in some. For example, higher in education or engineering or whatever, or medicine, and not higher in other domains. So even, for example, in the United States, we have some, university in the first rank or second rank or third rank, but the program are not so. So you have to also do, so knowledge is comparable. It means that we know that, we get to know when we compare things. This is part of epistemology. And part of epistemology also is we make some kind of taxonomy or hierarchy when we divide things and say, this is belong to this and this is belong to this, and this is coming in hierarchical order. So this is explained for you, the first slide. Why? Because I'm not going to specific. if I have to go to specific and qualitative research, it needs like a whole course, or qualitative, it takes a whole course. But I want to see, you know, like things from a broader perspective, and then you can apply it. This is the research. Be qualitative, or mixed. Same. Identify the research problem, then review the literature, or you start with the review of the literature, and then you identify a research problem, then specify a research purpose, data collection, report, and evaluate research, analyze, and interpret the data. Saying that they are the same, they are different. For example, how I identify research problem in a qualitative. Give me a research problem in qualitative study. Any qualitative. It could be one. In other words, in qualitative study, what do we do? Yeah, quantitative, not qualitative. Yeah, we can have control group, we have experimental groups, that is true. It is an experiment. All it is an experiment. Control and experimental group and control group. That is true. But see, why I do that? Because I want to test something. I have a hypothesis. I have something in mind. This is the difference between qualitative. Then qualitative, how is it a qualitative study? Do you have a hypothesis?
When people are attracted to a certain place, for instance, this is like a problem for us as qualitative researchers. We want to explore why are these people attracted to this
God
place.
bless your heart. You say the word, I want to explore. In qualitative, you don't have a hypothesis. You may have passion about the issue. You don't have hypothesis. Hypothesis, that means I hypothesize about things. If I did this, I know that the experimental group from the beginning, as a researcher, is going to outperform the control group. Is that true? So this is my hypothesis. But in qualitative data, no, we don't have a hypothesis. We have what? We have hardship. We have, like, I want to understand the phenomenon. Some group of students that are doing cheating in university. I want to understand it. But you understand it from what lenses? Also could be, like, from the law. Are there laws in university? Or from the social context? Is cheating like, they do it, it's okay because of the they do it. So it is the lensing. This is the difference. In quantitative research, we test a theory. In qualitative, we build a theory. We build a new understanding. In qualitative, we build a new understanding. Because I first understand and explore, as you said, and then I bring my understanding, my analysis. So the departure here, the research problem is that it could be there is a controversial issue in research, so there is a dispute between researchers. Some say that this issue can be solved in this way. The others say no. You can feel that some agree and some disagree with it. So there is a dispute in research. So I'm going to use quantitative. If I believe that the statistics and I can use a big number and I have a control group, experimental group, then I go qualitative. Then identify the research problem in qualitative. It is my curiosity. I see some kind of a phenomenon and I want to pursue it. This is qualitative. Qualitative is like, I don't have a presupposition. I don't have a hypothesis. I came with empty hand to understand. And I assume this naivety. I'm naive. I want to understand the qualitative. I don't have agenda. I don't have anything. Unless you know some transformation of the life, that's different. But I don't have anything. In qualitative, I want to understand. I come to people, I ask them, I report, I use, I observe, I see, I report, I analyze. This is qualitative. Very different to versus intent. Because why I say that? Because I believe that reality in qualitative is socially constructed. For example, you are from China. And if I am going to stage the problem of divorce in China is not like the same problem of divorce in Egypt or Sudan or United Arab or Nigeria or like in Africa. It is not the same because the social reality is different. The social reality is different. So my aim is not generalization in qualitative, while I mean, like to generalize in quantitative. In qualitative, I don't fish for, I just want to understand the phenomenon. Okay, in this lecture, we talk about mixed methods. So the mixed method makes things very interesting. You bring both reality together, quantitative and qualitative. So, for example, I did an experiment, but I want to have more explanation, to hear people, to listen to them. So I'm going to do what? Interviews, sit with them, have more in-depth understanding. This is where the mixed methods, it offsets both the disadvantage of both quantitative and qualitative. Mixed methods, it offsets both disadvantage of quantitative, because quantitative has flaws. Those who study quantitative method, it has flaws. Qualitative, it has flaws. That is why when I use mixed method, I validate my data. This is the big thing about mixed method. That is why when you write a grant, when you do things, big things, you use mixed methods. Even if you apply for a grant, the best way to do it is to use both quantitative and qualitative. That means you are going to mix the data. It gives me more option to look at my data. It gives me more option to validate the data because I see different reality. I see numbers, I see it by words. I see it by numbers, and I see it by words. I hear it from people, and I see it in terms of statistics. This is where you can see things very clearly. So, in terms of reviewing the literature, it is the same. But think about that. Reviewing the literature in quantitative is a must. It's very important part. It does not mean that it is not important in qualitative. In qualitative, you are selective of your views, of your understanding of a certain phenomena. That is, you use the literature review carefully. For example, in quantitative, I'm going to use, for example, both sides. If there is a dispute in an area of research, those researchers say, this method is good, the other researchers say no. Okay, I come between, I try to enter this dispute. I'm a researcher now. I'm with you. I want to have my voice. In qualitative, no. If I see a case study in some place, I take the frame, I take a general understanding, I build it according to what I know locally, and I came with my understanding. So the literature review, I don't say that. That's, I'm teaching the qualitative course, and my student believes that, like, you said that there is no literature. I didn't say there is no literature review in qualitative. I say you use it to serve your purpose. And actually, a framework will serve you more than a literature. So literature review, you have to use it, but selectively, to support you. While there, you use all the things that all the variables. So, what are you saying here? You know that those who are doing for you, like qualitative research, the building blocks of qualitative research are variables. Those are the blocks. The stones are variables, variations. This is what you are doing. You are comparing means. You are doing all kinds of statistics. Okay? But the building blocks for qualitative are themes, not variables. They are different. Building blocks of qualitative are themes. So in mixed method, we bring together both variables and themes, and we validate the data. We can compare, we can validate the data, and this is the best thing about the mixed method. Okay? So specify research purpose. Provide again qualitative data, like a purpose for a qualitative research. What is my purpose? In another way, what is my purpose in qualitative research?
Explore a phenomenon.
In quantitative, I'm saying, like in qualitative research.
Example could be finding out some prevalence. For example, if we don't have any data about the prevalence in a country, through a quantitative data or a methodology, with the help of survey or questionnaires, we can find the prevalence of certain conditions, say like social isolation. So we
Yeah,
just have,
yeah, okay. So this is qualitative data research.
yes,
Yeah, for example, there is a problem I see it in a certain country, and there are some research. So you start. That is why I see the review of literature is very important in qualitative. You got it?
yes,
So because I know from why I know that from the literature review, there is a problem. And I see it in my country, for example, and I want to also test it. So specifying the research problem is I want to test something. I have hypothesis in my mind. This is where like a research purpose. That is why even the words that I use are different. Research purpose. What are the words that I choose? The choice, the word choice are different. In qualitative, like I want to examine. Okay, I want to test. I want to compare. Yeah, I want to, say, prove even. Although we don't use to, I want to test a hypothesis. And by the end of your research, for example, in qualitative, you say, I reject the full hypothesis or fail to reject the null hypothesis. I reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject the null hypothesis. So specification of a research purpose, even the lexicon, the words that you use, I can tell this is, I can smell it, this is the quantitative. I want to examine, I want to compare. See? So your purpose here is very clear. Is you are going to use statistic data to compare, to correlate, to find a correlation, to find, like differences among the means, as you said, using ANCOVA, ANOVA, analysis of variance, all those kind of things, we use them in quantitative data. Predictors, all of those are quantitative. So, what is my research purpose in qualitative? The words that I use are different. Remember, I want to examine, I want to find a relationship, I want to do that, I want to do that in qualitative. But what do you use in qualitative? I want to investigate. I want to understand. My first person is to interpret. So the words that you use are totally different in your purpose when you use qualitative. And that is why in qualitative research, you have one question. Only one question that cover the whole phenomenon, and you have some questions. Think about it. Even the purpose, you can achieve the purpose in terms of overarching questions, big questions, main questions, original questions, and then sub questions to look at the entities that I may expect to see. Okay, specified as a research purpose. Data collection are different too. I say those procedures are the same, but they are different. In terms of data collection, what can I expect? What kind of collection of data I'm going to use in quantitative? Questionnaire, survey. No, in qualitative. Yeah. No, in qualitative. Yeah. Survey, questionnaire, experimental, like experiments, testing, statistics all the way. So this is the data collection. What I see, I'm going to use, like software that is like XPS, or like other software that are used in the engineering or in other fields, science field that are mainly like for quantitative. But in terms of qualitative, I'm going to my data collection could be interviews, focus group, observations, intervention qualitative most, because you have statistics. But you can have an intervention and you can have an interview for the intervention. This is basically negative. You can use it, but you have more. What else? Data, qualitative, a lot of data. Huh? Ethnographic field notes. Yeah, field notes. Archives, analysis, video analysis, picture analysis, document analysis. Everything that you can put your hand on, and it is natural, and that is why qualitative is in a natural. We forget to talk about the mixed method. Mixed method is specified research paper. I have a big research paper, and I'm going to use both qualitative and quantitative. That is why in the mixed method, you have to come to the middle, the sweet middle. You understand what I mean? You don't even want to make your title more quantitative or qualitative. You have to use it wisely. And also you have quantitative or hypothesis. This is the only way when you have hypothesis and research question go together. Very, you have to be very careful in the mixed method. You have to have a big plan. And people will ask you, is a mixed method. Why do you use a mixed method? Be prepared for that. Why do you use a mixed method? Okay? Because I want to validate the data, I want to explore more the data. Like from the first phase, I'm not satisfied. I want to see the view. If you talk about quantitative, from the interview, I get some understanding. I want to explore more. I want to explain the data. All of those are part of your excuse of data collection, both qualitative and qualitative. Here, where you mix it. You can use an experimental design with the interview. You can use an intervention plus, like following up with interview or observation or whatever. Because you want to have a complete picture. This is the mixed method. Analysis and interpretation of data, how it works there. I'm going to analyze what? In quantitative. Yeah.
I believe that quantitative is not subjective at all. Like you deal with numbers, whatever the numbers.
Yes, you deal with numbers, but how I'm going to analyze? I'm going to analyze the variables. I'm going to work with the variables, the dependent variables, the independent variables, all of those kind of things I'm going to statistically. Okay, if it is a correlation, I want to see the relationship. Is it a strong relationship? Like two variables, all of those kind of things. Or if it is the ANOVA analysis of variance, you are going to see some differences between things. Okay, this is the analysis of data. Analysis of data, what I'm going to work on. If I have, I have my interviews, I have my observation, I have my document, then how I analyze the data in terms of what? We say the building blocks of qualitative are variables, as the building blocks of qualitative are themes. Interpretation and analysis of data is always you are working with the meaning, with the themes. Okay, and then report and how is that in a mixed method? Yeah, very well. But in a mixed method, I'm going to have, in terms of analysis and interpretation, both statistics and themes. And the report and evaluate research can come handy when it is quantitative or qualitative. Is that true? But with mixed method, you have to report carefully. Am I going to report the qualitative alone and talk about it, and qualitative role and talk about it, or I'm going to mix them and find the elements that there is a similarity and variances or differences among them, and come with major findings. You got it? So this is the same thing as I said, it applies to qualitative, and to mixes. But our lenses, our framework, and our epistemology are different. This is what I said before. Okay? Do you have any question about this? Those people, I wish those people who are, can they hear us?
I believe they do. In the chat, maybe they can ask questions.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, we can
they
hear you.
can open, okay. We'll open the chat. Very, I'm not sure how to follow it, but
There's a short click on the chat.
yeah. Literature review, research question, qualitative and qualitative research design. And then you see the combined design here is the next question. So here qualitative design like ground theory, ethnography, narrative, case study, name it, like a phenomenology study, all of those symbolic interactionism, all kinds of qualitative design. So qualitative design like experimental, correlational, survey. And then we have a sampling technique, instrument protocol, data analysis, and interpretation. And then discussion, conclusion, limitation, and future research. In a nutshell, what we say here is that our research are different in terms of their orientation. Being qualitative, being quantitative, and combination of both are different. In the mixed method, you come to the middle. Mixed method is a beautiful one, but you need to have, like a great stamina, like to collect a lot of data. And the good thing about also mixed method, you can publish at least 4 papers from your dissertation or 5 papers because you have a lot of data, both qualitative and quantitative. Describe a research problem through trends and relationship. Provide major role for the research to suggest this question and justify the research problem. That's why literature review is important, but it plays a major role in quantitative. It plays a minor role in quantitative. I'm sorry. It plays a minor role in qualitative. And create purpose statement, research question, and hypothesis if it is question. I prefer that, like if it is, like a mix, if it's a quantitative, you use hypothesis. But anyway, you can use also research questions that are specific, narrow, measurable, and observable. Even when you look at a phenomena, you have to describe it and narrow it. Like I'm looking at this. This is the most important about research. Specific, narrow. Some people say, like, I want to, they give you a problem. Like, I want to do, like my research in what?
Something broad that is not.
Very broad. What do you mean by that? Okay. For example, some, because I'm in language, some students they came in like in language skills. Are you going to do it in language skills? Reading, listening, speaking, and all of the language skills? This is too much. You are so great. Try to focus on one. Language skills are, and even go more, because language skills now are 6. Visualization and visual representation. So listening, speaking, like writing, and reading. Is 4, visualizing and visual representation. All of them, the 6 of them, those language skills you are going to, or you have, so be specific. Even if you focus on reading, you can do it for the rest of your life reading. And you will not even, like touch the tip of the iceberg because it's a lot, it is a big area. So collect numeric data from a large number of people using instruments. This is in terms of qualitative. Okay, we need the big N, the big number. Very important. Analyze data for trends, group, comparison, relationship among variables, qualitative. Write the research reporting using standard fixed structure and an objective unbiased approach. Okay, I always challenge my students with this painting. If you think about this painting, when it is this painting, can you see it? Tell me what do you see in this picture? A picture within a picture, okay? This is the algorithms. What is this picture, this painting?
There is a large canvas or a mirror.
It is a large canvas. What is a painting?
Is he the one on the left?
Is he look at objective reality or subjective reality? Here, I took it. What is that? Yeah. This is in 1656. Almost how many centuries? Almost 4 centuries, 400 years ago. Think about this genius painting. We usually, when we paint people, we use the objective reality. I'm going to paint you. But this painter, he paints himself inside. This is qualitative research. Qualitative is a subjective reality. You are inside the research. The researcher is the main, this is the qualitative research. Qualitative researcher is outside the picture and he's painting the objective reality of the royal family. This is in Spain, and this is the Gauss squares, and reality and complexity. They call it last minutes or صفات الشرط. Those are princes, and those are the king and the queen. Think about this painter. He has this selfie. We just, psychoanalysis how many years ago? 10 years ago? And we take a selfie. So this guy has a selfie. He painted himself inside 400 years ago. But this is tell us about the subjective reality, about the qualitative research. The researcher is inside the research. He wants to understand. He paints himself inside, not outside. In qualitative, you are look as the subjective, you just paint those people, but you don't paint yourself with your canvas and with all this complex reality inside the painting.
He's like totally immersed into the painting itself, that he brought himself inside the painting.
See?
It's very, very.
It is very strong idea. If you think it is significant to say. Almost 300 and more, 60 years or something like that. Or more, 8 years. Okay? Or 7 years. 307 years since the painting. Think about how this guy is genius. This is the first time a painter paints himself inside. But this is give us insight for what we use as a selfie today. We are not, putting ourselves as subjective reality. Okay? So if I'm taking a selfie from this class, I'm going, saying, oh, I remember this, I remember the smiley face, I remember everybody, and look at me, I'm all here. It is not. But if I take it from objective reality, I'm just, going to be you. Subjective reality, I'm with you. To think about, what I said about epistemology. Do you have any comments, anything?
That's why sometimes in research, one of the limitations is always the subjective interpretation of the researcher.
Yeah, the researcher is the major tool in qualitative. So, but in qualitative, he doesn't have this major role. Because let's say experiment good, and you don't interfere. It is a value free. It is not value related. It is value free. I'm not, I'm out of it. So, explore process of obtaining what? A detailed understanding of central phenomenon. I want to understand the phenomena, how the literature justify the problem, and clear minor role. That's what I say. It doesn't mean that like you don't have to have a literature. You see that sometimes I say it's like, you don't say it's like he says that no, the literature tells you. I anticipate to write it very concise to help you frame your study. States the purpose of research question in general, open-ended way. That is why I'm going to use why. For example, in phenomenology, what is experience and how it is experienced. For example, if I go to the kindergarten, give just an example of kindergarten. You see those moms, when they take their kids to the kindergarten, they cry because they take them from home for the first time. It's a phenomenon. So what's the experience? The first day of kindergarten for kids. Because they are going to be the strangers, even the teacher. And the teacher also, the kindergarten, they have to cope with this. Babies are going to cry because they leave the familiar, context, the family, and then go to the kindergarten. So, what is experience and how to experience it? How the parents experience it, how the teacher experience it. This is something that I want to report on. It states the purpose of research question in general open, collect data from a small number of parties. It is opposite to quantitative. The big number? No, it is not. I'm not going to generalize, but select. Analyze using text analysis to obtain detailed description and themes, write the research report, use flexible and emerging structure. In qualitative, our understanding is always in hold because it is emerging tradition. Our so I can collect the data and I analyze my theme and understand more. That is why they call them emerging tradition or emergent research. Not like that when I decided before when I have modalities and when I put it is a done deal. And language there is very formal. I'm not going to change anything. But here the language is changing. Even your title can change in qualitative because your understanding is changing. It is so beautiful. Analyze the data using text analysis to obtain detailed description and themes. Reliable research report using flexible and emerging structure. It helps us to understand what you understand, what you understood, and incorporating the researcher subjective reflexivity and bias. In qualitative, we cannot avoid this bias because it is subjective. But what we can do is to practice ourselves, to eliminate as much bias as we can. And also to say our bias in our analysis. Maybe this is my view, because since I know this reality, maybe this is my interpretation here is not. So your bias. One of the things that we say it is reflexivity. Reflexivity, what are my position? You remember speaking with the group. You have to build a rapport, they have to trust you. So this is reflexivity. You are insider and outsider at the same time. You bring edit and innate perspective at the same time. All of these are part of the qualitative. So, examining whether intervention influences the outcome for one group as opposed to another group, and then associating or relating variable in a predictable pattern for one group of others, describing trends for the population of people. So this could be experimental, it's correlation, or survey research, qualitative. Qualitative design, exploring the shared culture of a group. This is ethnography. What is ethnography? Shared culture. Ground theory, exploring common experience with individual to develop a theory. Here in grounded theory, you build a theory. exploring individual stories to describe life of people. This is a narrative research. And this is the most important thing. And I think if you have time, this is a third space. As you see, this is you in this university. Some people here are in arts, okay, and some people are in natural science, like medicine, say engineering, whatever, like sciences in general. And we use statistics all the time, this is what we learn. But think about it, here we do hermeneutics, which is interpretation, phenomenology. This part is for art, and this is critical theory. So this is a continuum way of seeing research, from science to arts. Here we do a lot of interpretation, and that is more of a qualitative if you look at it, and here is a quant or qual or combined mixed method where the area in the middle, the sweet middle. And then quantitative were used, quantitative is the evaluation, survey was experimental design, all of that. So you see this continuum of research from far right, and you see this sphere, a whole sphere can tell you about all the research that is done in this university from science. Okay, I will leave this here and I will go. Do you have any questions? I think we have some time. What is that?
They were responding to us to people.
What is that?
They were responding for your previous question, whether it's subjective or objective.
And there's a question.
Sorry. Yeah. Jafar, Fatima, they cannot talk?
We can.
Yeah. It's in the, I hear that they are the outsider and they carry an ethic approach. There is Rita and Shayma, Ruwaida, I believe, Jafar, Fatima, Ruwaida again, Leonard. Hello? Can you hear us? Can you give us the?
They can hear us, and if they want to speak, they
Yeah,
have
they
to.
can turn on.
You take the mic.
You don't prefer to speak.
Hello? Do you have any questions so far? You can open the mic and speak.
I have a question, sir.
Ruwaida?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know for qualitative research, what should be an ideal sample size for PhD level research? You mentioned that the sample size can be small, but what is the good amount of sample that we should think of if we are planning for qualitative research?
Qualitative research. For the qualitative, this is a good question. For qualitative, which is the small, the rule of thumb is 10 plus or minus 15. If you have 25, is perfect. If you have 20, is okay. Even you can do it with 3 people. If it is an in-depth phase. I have a published paper with 3 participants. It is a beautiful and it is a QA. So it is, this is the rule.
So for
Then-
PhD level also 20 participants is fine, sir?
What is that?
For
Can you raise, I can't hear you properly, I'm sorry.
for PhD level work, for a PhD thesis work, 20 to 25.
20, yeah, it could be 20. If it is ground theory, it will be, like 60, it could be a big number. Because in ground theory, it is different. We have a big number.
Okay.
And we have extensive interviews, and we can use other tools. But think about it. Ground theory, you want to build a theory.
Yes.
You need to have, like work, like it's a lot of data. But for, like a case study, it could be 10, it could be 20. You understand? Yeah, this is good.
Okay. Okay.
We can, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it is 10 plus or minus 15. It could be up to 25 or 20.
Okay,
You
sir.
understand? Or 15 or 10. Or if it is a scale, a small scale, it could be 6. You understand? So you
Yes, sir.
decide. So,
Okay.
but nonetheless, it is small. But usually you use a big number because when we interview people, not all people are open up and give us a lot of information. So to be in the safe side is to have like 20. When interpreting the result, we end up triangulating data from different methodology. How do we present them? You present them in terms of major findings. You can present them, and I have some students do a mixed method where they see where the differences and where the data intersect, where there is a similarity and differences. Okay, when you triangulate, for example, when you see your data, and this is a good thing to validate your data. When you triangulate the data, or if you are asking about mixed method, I can have a mixed method questions adding to my question, which is, are there some variation, similarity and variation among side, what the people report and what the people side actually do if I use observation and I use. So I see what they report and I report it and I observe them and see if there are some differences of what or what they say, what they self-report, or if they do a survey and do the interview, if their talk in the interview are different from their talk in the self-report, which survey. So there is many ways you can do it. You can connect the data together and look at it in terms of similarity and get it as a major finding. And this is usually the next lesson. Yeah. This is it's a mixed method. Yes. Yeah. Usually one methodology dominates and result with the other. This is it. Sometimes and that is why in mixed method we have exploratory, either the quantitative research come before the qualitative, or the qualitative come before the quantitative. If I don't have instruments, I go qualitative. I understand the phenomena and I build, for example, my survey or even my instruments. Even like if it is an experimental like design. That means I explore it first with qualitative. There is exploratory mixed method design and there is exploratory mixed method. If I use quantitative, and that is why there is what's your name? Anirudh. Anirudh, yeah. Anirudh, you can treat it. Okay. Yes, there's a domination in terms of even, we call it a notation in quantitative. If you have qualitative play a big part, you say qual as then a small qual. You understand? Or qual, and this is, we call it notation system. There is, like sometimes, and there is embedded design. All of this can be explained. You understand? Sometimes you are a more by nature. Not people are equal. Sometimes, like there are more qualitative people or a qualitative. They lean more to qualitative thing, qualitative oriented, qualitative oriented, like students. So especially who love the language, love metaphor, abstract ideas, philosophy are leaning to qualitative. Those who wants, like numbers and proofs and all of that, like learning. So there is a notation system in mixed method. You can write it, like what is the dominant one and what is the small one. And there is a different thing. Exploratory, are you going to explain or explore? Explore first, you go to qualitative to explore the qualitative result later on. Or explanatory, you use qualitative later to explain the qualitative result. There is a design for that. So it validates, yeah. The best things about mixed methods, the beautiful things is to do both, like mixed method. You can publish more, this is a good thing. You can practice more, like ability in doing qualitative and quantitative. You can apply more talents of your qualitative ability and qualitative ability in your research. So it gives you abundance of information. The bad thing about it, it takes time. But if you have time, you can do it. Or if you are a team, yes, you can do quantitative. Do you have any questions? Please do ask. Yes, the best things about mixed method, it validates the data. Hello? You have question here? Some people on the side. You have questions still? Some question? That's it? You don't have more questions? You don't have more questions? You have too many questions, you are with me, but you can ask your questions. Still we have like few minutes there. Yes?
Thinking, for example, you mean, some published articles can be part from the denotation?
Some published articles can be.
Like we build they are part of the denotation. Like how, thinking how we link them together. How
Some published work.
how we like the articles make contributions to our denotation. How they are connected.
The articles, the literature review, yeah, in literature review, yes, you see sometimes in your dissertation, you see an article typically like what you, this is we call it what? You want to do what? In terms of research. If you see an article and I want to do the same things, I want to follow the step of this article.
Experiment.
Huh?
Experiment. Action.
You do what with the study? Replication. If you see an article and you want to do the same thing like this article, you like the frame, you like the literature review, and you like the study, and it's exactly what created, you can do a replication for the study. The literature review, as I said, it is from broad to narrow. It is about the topic and all the problems that with it, and then the similar studies that are very close to what you are thinking of. This is how you build the literature review. So you benefit from not only inside articles, you may read like 50 articles, 60 articles for your dissertation, beside books, beside theory, to build up just the literature review. And this is conceptualize everything, including the framework. Okay, yeah, it adds. You have to connect, but you have to simplify. You have to simplify the article. The literature, you have to write it in a way that is very organized. Okay, still, you have any questions? Thank you very much. Thank you. jump to the first I read message, which is that. It's echoing a bit, okay, this is at the beginning, yeah. Okay. I think we're done. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you, those who are online, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Susan. Ciao. Wow. A lot of life. Now. You have any question, anything?
I need more, like, more things to be around.
Yeah, we will have some classes that, psychopathology, because you are your first year. Susan is in the first cohort.
Yes, I found her.
You have seen her? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.